Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio, so today we are looking at Darmanitan. Now that's quite interesting, because Darmanitan was a Pokemon that came around in black and white, and we have not had many Darmanitan cards at all. We've had 4 in total. The last Darmanitan card we had was in 2012. That was 6 years ago. Darmanitan is in fact a Pokemon that's gotten so little love that when I made a video a while ago now, July 2017, I looked at Pokemon that we hadn't had for a while, and I actually gave Darmanitan a shout out on that video as a Pokemon that had been forgotten for way too long. It took the better part of a year, but we're finally getting a new Darmanitan, and I'd like to think I had just a little bit something to do with it. And it's actually not a bad Pokemon at all. Now, it is a fire Pokemon, which is a really good typing to have at the moment in terms of weakness, because you're actually hitting weakness against your metal Pokemon. Think Solgaleo GX or Dawn Wings Necrozma might be a better example at the moment, while also hitting weakness against grass Pokemon like Golisopod GX. So to be perfectly honest, ladies and gentlemen, not bad. Now, in terms of support, it's a little bit less good. You've got Scorched Earth, a stadium that gives you a little bit of extra draw power, I suppose. You've got Volcanion, the baby Volcanion, hey Nick, which does give you a little bit of energy acceleration. You don't, unfortunately, get the Big Daddy Volcanion, as I like to call him, because Big Daddy Volcanion, only with Steam Up, allows you to do extra damage with basic Pokemon, and unfortunately, that's not what we have with Darmanitan. It's a stage 1. You have got a retreat cost of 2 here, which is a little bit of a pain because it doesn't give you access to Heavy Ball, but it's not particularly light, so, you know, cheers for that. And you have got a weakness to water here, which is not the end of the world. You have got Empoleon at the moment, which could potentially be a good Pokemon going forward. And of course, we do have Glaceon, who is seeing more and more play and more success as we go along. But you've got 130 HP, which, as I say in a bunch of videos, Pokemon like Zoroark will naturally hit 120, assuming they've got a full bench. So having 130 makes a big difference. It's a nice HP to have. But as with all of these Pokemon, it is time to look at the attacks, and our translations come, as they have for our last few videos, and I can tell you will for our next couple videos, unless news breaks and Limitless aren't on it, which I don't think they are, from Limitless TCG, Mr. David Hochmann himself, the lovely man, who not only gives us the translations, but doesn't ever seem annoyed when I send him random messages asking for clarification. So the first attack, 1 Fire Energy, attach 3 Fire Energy cards from your hand to your Pokemon in any way that you like. This is clearly good energy acceleration. It's kind of like Kiawe, except Kiawe does accelerate from the deck, whereas this accelerates from your hand, so you've got to have the energy in hand to attach. But then again, we are getting Flint as well in Dragonstorm. Flint is just an item card that allows you to search your deck for 4 fire energy and put them into your hand. So essentially here, you play a Flint. You've then got 1 energy to attach to Darmanitan. You've then got 3 energy in your hand that you can then use with Darmanitan to attach anywhere you like. And the likelihood is you're going to be attaching it to a big boy like Ho-Oh, for instance. Now, this kind of gives me pause for thought. Now, I mentioned Reshiram a couple of times in recent videos because it serves as a good example. Reshiram GX has a really good GX attack. I did a video, check that one out. I will try and remember to pop a link in the description, although I have been rubbish at doing that lately. I'll try and be better. Let me know in the comments if I failed. But the first attack for Reshiram just says search your deck for 2 fire energy and attach it to Reshiram. And the point I always make with Pokemon like this is that you're then staying in the active, letting your opponent have a free hit on a Pokemon that you've just attached energy to. Not the case here, because you are attaching energy, presumably here, to your benched Pokemon, meaning you're not just attaching energy and then staying in the active, letting your opponent take a hit. I mean, certainly against something like a Gardevoir, if you just attach a bunch of energy and then pass the turn, that is not going to end well. So here you can attach it to benched Ho-Oh and things like that. Now there's every possibility here that your opponent will just play a Guzma, bring that Ho-Oh into the active after you've attached all the energy using Darmanitan, and then go get some hits on it, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen, if they do, they do. But the fact of the matter is, we've got some really powerful fire decks at the moment, and Ho-Oh comes to mind, and they are built around accelerating energy. You use a combination of Max Elixir, Kiawe, and the non-GX Volcanium, and what you do is you just try and set up, because Ho-Oh does 180 for 4 energy. Which means that if you get a couple of Ho-Oh set up, especially if you give them choice bands, you basically lose the game. As soon as Ho-Oh's set up, the Ho-Oh player wins. The way you beat a Ho-Oh deck is to stop them getting energy. Well, here, you can potentially go with Darmanitan and get the energy on. Now, Darmanitan attaches from the hand, whereas Volcanion attaches from the discard. And Darmanitan attaches 3, whereas Volcanion attaches 2. And Darmanitan's a stage 1, whereas Volcanion's a basic. So there is a strong argument here that just using Volcanion is better, and they've both got the same HP, so in theory should last the same amount of time. They've both got the same retreat cost, so they're going to be just as awkward to move out the active, and they've both got the same weakness. So it's not like one's better against one deck and the other's better against another. But it gives you options, and in a fire deck, that's important. I like Darmanitan for setting up things like Ho-Oh, and with Flint in the format, by this time this comes out, you are going to be able to actually get those free energy. I think as energy acceleration in a fire deck, it could work. But it's also got a pretty nice attack as well. Fire, fire, colourless, 30 damage, flip 4 coins, it does 50 for each heads. And those of you that have been playing for a while might remember Darmanitan, double colourless energy, flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon, 50 damage for each heads. I had friends that played the Darmanitan, and I had friends that beat really good players because they hit a bunch of coin flips playing what was essentially a joke deck, and I saw a bunch of really good players have tournaments ruined because they essentially got beaten by a joke deck that hit a bunch of heads. It's hilarious if you're the Darmanitan player. It's not if you're not. But the fact of the matter is, you hit 2 heads, you're hitting 130, so an opposing Pokemon like a Volcanion, like a Greninja, these 130 HP Pokemon, will be going down. But also, let's say you hit a single heads here, then you're doing 80, with a choice band means you're doing 110, so now Golisopod goes straight down here. And if you hit 4 heads, which I know is a lot to ask, you're doing 230, which is a KO on a Gardevoir, or you can add a choice band here, then you're hitting 260 and getting a KO on literally anything. So to be perfectly honest, this is a pretty good attack. Now, it's flippy. And as always, if we're talking about flippy, we need to mention Victini from Guardians Rising that allows you to reflip. We've talked about him a lot. We don't need to go into a huge amount of detail. But the biggest issue here isn't really the coin flip, because you should on average be doing 130 on a non-GX. That's pretty good. The issue is the energy cost. And don't get me wrong, we've got all of our tricks for fire Pokemon. We've got Kiawe, we've got Max Elixir, though you would have to do that before you evolved. You've got Darmanitan itself. But are you really going to be putting free energy on a Darmanitan when 4 energy on a Ho-Oh is just better? Or free energy on a Volcanion also does 130, but then you've got Steam up to allow you to do that extra damage. Now, you do get access to counter energy if you're playing Darmanitan, but of all the decks, I think Fire is the least likely to play counter energy. You need basic energy to accelerate with Volcanion, you need basic energy for Steam Up, you need basic energy for Scorched Earth, you need basic energy for Flint, you see where I'm going with this, basic energy for Kiawe. If ever there was a deck that really wanted to only play one type of basic energy, it's Fire decks. And that's kind of where we are with Darmanitan. I like it as energy acceleration, but maybe Baby Volcanion, hey Nick, is better for that purpose. And I kind of like it as an attacker, but Ho-Oh and Volcanion are probably better for that purpose. Although if you hit 4 heads, it is amazing. I like this card, and I love that we're getting a new Darmanitan. And if there are any Darmanitan fans out there, Darmana fans? I'm rolling with it, then you should be delighted. Because it took you almost 6 years to get this card, probably coming out in our August set, which will be basically 5 years and 9 months. So celebrate that we've got a new Darmanitan. But it's not the best card ever. It is worth playing. It is a decent card and it fits into fire decks. I'm not 100% sure it's better than what we've got at the moment. Oh, wait! But Volcanian's going to rotate out in September, and we're still going to have Ho-Oh, and we're still going to need some energy acceleration in the early game. At that point, Darmanitan gets an awful lot better. For the moment, I'm giving it free Wassies. It's a decent tech. Keep it in your binder, free Wassies. But there is every possibility, ladies and gentlemen, that when the rotation hits, this could become a really, really good starter in fire decks and be up closer to a 4 Wassie card. But as with all of these, I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, and do check out Wassie Plays for some Dragon Ball Super and video game action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.